What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. Remember this car? Yeah, it doesn't get much screen time anymore. Ever since I got the turbo car running, I kind of stopped driving that. It just kind of sat in the garage and collected dust. And now that that's not running again, I guess I can drive this car. Sounds bad, but it's true. Whatever. This car has been sitting in the garage, and actually one of the other reasons I stopped driving it because my headliner started to fall. It was really annoying, so I always kept the top down whenever I drove it, and when I put the top up, the headliner was like falling on my head, and that's annoying. So I'm gluing it up now. That's not what this video is about, but that's the progress of it. Just got this sitting here, just holding the window up so it's not sitting on its own weight, because this glue has to take like 12 hours to dry. It's really annoying. Same process I did for the E36 door cards. Put the glue on there, clamp it down, and that's it. So it's sitting there resting and drying, and I didn't have enough clamps to do front and back, so I did front yesterday, doing back now. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. It's about this spoiler. So this spoiler is very, very crusty, and it needs some work. So this car has been, I've had this car for 5 years, had the spoiler for 5 years because it was one of the first mods I did. The first 3 years of this car's life, it sat outside. I didn't even have a garage. It wasn't in this house, and so it's got real bad sun baking. So it hasn't gone down to the weaves, so I think we can fix it. So we're gonna try to fix that today. I think the process is pretty simple. We're basically gonna sand, and clear coat. I lost the clear coat. Oh, so yes, I bought sandpaper, an assortment of sandpaper. You can get it from like any auto parts store. We're probably gonna start 600, probably gonna get a spray bottle too somewhere so we can wet sand the whole time. That way it's not any violent scratches in it. So wet sand from 600 all the way up to probably 2000, and then just spray clear coat on it, and it should look like new again. I guess we'll see. But you can see that some of the spots are just really just coming off with my finger right now. So I think a lot of the sun fading should come off pretty simple. So let's take this wing off and get started. Corner. Oh, it's so dirty under here. Ew. That is disgusting, but I'll wipe it down, and I'm not gonna really clean it too much because it's gonna go right back on there. But that is disgusting. So I had to take all the old 3M tape off while I haven't fixed the top yet. That way I can just leave it down on the end, and then yeah, so it actually came off better on the side where I didn't use a heat gun. So don't use a heat gun. Didn't get it all off, but that's fine. The back of the spoiler we're not gonna touch. You're not gonna really see. It is sun faded a little bit, but I don't think we're gonna sand that. That's not really that bad. It's the top that needs a blessing, because this thing, especially in the sun, you can see how terrible that is. That doesn't shine at all. So really curious to see how this turns out. So let's go ahead, and first we're gonna clean it and then start wet sanding. All right, so what I have here is just soapy water. It's just water with a little dash of Dawn soap, and I'm gonna use that to clean it, and then I'm also gonna use this for wet sanding. That way this soap will kind of make it, more slick, so it'll be like super smooth. But we're gonna clean it first, because don't want all the dust. You don't want to sand the dust into, your spoiler, and then you have to sand that out too, so it makes more work. So clean it first. Now that it's clean, I'm gonna use my E36 as a table, and just gonna spray, starting with 600, and then we're just gonna sand away, and that should sand down the top layer, like all the super crusty stuff that you guys can see, and after that it should be more even. But let's get 600 out the way, and I won't bore you guys too much with just constant sanding. So this is the progress so far. You can see even the wet sandpaper is yellow, and that's where all the yellowing was. So I'm gonna start to wipe this off so you can see it better. But you see, I already got rid of some of those heavier marks just with the 600, and you can still see a little bit of the area right here, but you already see that big yellow spot is gone, and that was just 600. So I mean, after that, get some more right here, and like I said, just kind of sand it with 600 wet until it's even. So when it's fully even, we should be, you know, then we'll move on to 800, 1000, and just keep moving up until everything's super smooth, and just spray clear coat on it. So it's not a hard process. It's just gonna take some patience, and but I got all day, so let's get to it. All right, after about an hour and a couple beers later, this is where we're at. So this is where we're at right now with the 600 grit. There's still some imperfections you can see for now, but those will get covered up. But everything is pretty even. Like I said, we got rid of the big spots. There was a big old spot right here for sure, and I think there was another spot somewhere in these corners, but there were some huge spots, you know, from the very beginning, and those are all gone. So everything is actually nice and smooth now, smooth to the touch. And these spots right here are pretty deep. I don't think I can get to those. I think that's under this, whatever coat this is, and I don't want to keep going because I don't want to get to the weaves. If I start scratching the weaves, then this whole thing is destroyed for sure. But these aren't really going to show that much, and the way you test that is run it under some water. So I took it in the house, I put some water on it, and whenever you put the water on it and soak it really well, it basically mimics clear coat. So you'll see what it will look like with clear coat on it, and a lot of these spots right here kind of disappeared. So I think when it's all said and done with the clear coat on it, I don't think you'll see them. You might see them a little bit, but if it's not perfect, that's okay, because all this is going to cost me like $40 and a few hours of my time. So it's better than buying a whole new spoiler. So the 600 grit took a very long time. Like I said, it took over an hour, but that's because we were sanding the imperfections away, as also trying to make the whole spoiler, you know, even. Now that it's all even at 600, now we're going to move up to 800, do the same process, but it's not going to take as long because we're not sanding out imperfections. We're using the 800 to basically sand away the 600, and then we'll go to the 1000, and then I think 1500, and then 2000, and then after that we'll clear coat it. So I started this later in the evening, so hopefully there's enough time to clear coat it before it gets dark. If not, I will show you guys in the morning. But let's go ahead and start on the 800 now, and keep going. All right, so I'm done with the 800 now. Like I said, going from 600 to 800 doesn't take that long. I probably did it for about 10 minutes maybe. And you can kind of tell because it starts to get, like, you know, real smooth. When you first start, it's like real gritty because they're sanding away 600 grit sand. And then you get to the 800 and then it's kind of smooth again. So now we're going to move up to 1000 and do the same process over and over again. So, but it is actually looking better. Could be in my head, but I think it does look better at 800 than it did at 600, just you know, alone, and it's still dry. So let's move on to 1000. All right, finally done sanding. This thing feels buttery smooth, looks smooth, and I can't wait to put some clear coat on it. So I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit, make sure there's no more like moisture hidden in there, and then we're gonna start to clear coat it. And then if I can find some sunlight, I'll show you guys. If not, I'll show you guys in the morning, but we'll definitely look at the finished product together. And but yeah, it already looks better. Even, like I said, there are some imperfections still in here, especially around this where it feels like it's way too deep. But even still, even if it doesn't come out absolutely perfect, it is a 5-year-old spoiler, and we're gonna, you know, get this thing looking a whole lot better. So it looks better already without the clear coat, to be honest, from where we started. But after clear coat, it's definitely gonna look really good. So let this dry for a minute, and then we'll clear coat. All right, now we're at the final stage. So this is the clear coat stage. Make sure you get a real good clear coat because that is the final product. This is a 1K clear I got from the auto parts store, and 2K would have been better because 2K is actually clear coat and hardener in the same can, but I got this because that's what they had in the store. So this was like 17 bucks. Make sure you get a very good clear And we're gonna spray this on there, but first you gotta shake it up. It says shake for 2 minutes. I'm gonna shake it for 2 minutes because if you don't, you can get some clumps spraying out, and if you mess up clear coat, you pretty much gotta start the whole process over. So I don't wanna do that. I do not wanna sand clear coat. So let me shake this thing for 2 minutes and we'll get the spraying. All right, here goes nothing. Let's see what this thing gonna look like. All right, so this is fresh out the can, out the first coat. You can see this kind of stuff, so that is a little disappointing, but like I said, I don't expect it to be perfect, but it will definitely, I mean, it already looks better than what it did. But this is only the first coat. We're gonna do about 3. I think we'll do 3 coats and see what it looks like after that. But I'll lay it on a little bit thicker on the next coat, but for the first coat, you know, just to touch it, and then let it sit for about 10 minutes and start on the next coat. I messed up. I went way too heavy with the clear coat on that one, and it's got runs in it. So I'm gonna spray another coat, you know, just to get the clear coat on there. But tomorrow I'm gonna have to let it dry overnight, and then I'm about to use 25 grit sandpaper, which I have right here, and wet sand it with the 25 grit. I won't have to clear coat it after that. I don't think the 2500 is gonna go through the clear coat, but I think it'll make it even and get the runs out. So that sucks, but whatever. It's all that coming. I hate clear coat. I hate it so much. All right, so this is after the third coat. Still drying, still super wet. Like I said, there's definitely some runs in here that I need to get out tomorrow. Like, look at that. Jesus, there's some heavy ones in here. And there's still some marks that I couldn't get out. Like, that's like so far embedded in the clear coat that I didn't want to sand all the way down to that layer. There's a whole different layer than where we started. So, but as far as the marks that were in the beginning, all that stuff is gone. There was another one on this side, and I think it's more in the middle, but all that's pretty much gone. Like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna let it dry, get all these runs out, and after that it'll look way better. But that looks pretty good. All right, so this is 24 hours later. This side is completely dry. It's been drying for 24 hours and dry to the touch, but like I said, there are some runs in it. You can see one right there. So I'm definitely gonna sand that out. I started sanding on this side because I had a run over here too. You can still see a little bit of it, but I mean, it comes out pretty easy. I started with 2000 grit. I was gonna do 2500, but I think 2000, I didn't think 2500 was gonna do it, so started with 2000, and it's making it smooth. I mean, it still needs a little bit more work, but as you can see, it does make it more dull. So I will have to clear it again, unfortunately, but I will definitely be more careful. But just get this, let's get the runs out and just re-clear it and just do it real light, because I mean, it's still gonna be smooth. So, but I do have to re-clear it, but whatever, it's not the end of the world. So I know I just said yesterday that you guys got to be more careful when it comes to your clearing process, because that is your final product. And unfortunately I messed mine up, so I'm back to the sanding process just like I was yesterday, but it's fine. I'll be more careful this time. I am not perfect by any means. I make mistakes like everybody makes mistakes, but I don't cover them up on video. I will show my mistakes. That makes me different. So sanding again. Once we get this fully sanded, we will spray it again. Since I waited 24 hours, it's dark again almost. So I'll give you the full finished product tomorrow. Also, I learned yesterday when I went to go dry it, I had it, the way I laid it when I was sanding was a kind of a weird way. I laid it, you know, I had it on the box and it was kind of sitting like it would be on the car, where it kind of slopes down. And this time when I go to clear it, I'm gonna maybe put something under it to prop it up so it sits more flat, and that way it'll be less chance of runs, because that's exactly where all the runs came from. Just right from the top, it just came sloping downwards like it would be if it was on the car. So I'm gonna definitely fix that next time, and then maybe I won't have runs again and have to do this whole process again. After sanding as much as I could with the 2000 grit, it just would not get rid of that line from the clear coat run. So I decided start all over. So I went all the way back to 600 grit, worked my way all the way back to 2000, and I sanded all through the night. So once I finished, I went ahead and started on the clear coating, but this time I sprayed it a lot more spread out and quicker to avoid as much runs as possible. So now let's look at the finished product. Alright, and that is it. Job complete. Painters, you guys have my utmost respect. Not that you haven't before, but this is a lot of work. And this was just, just sanding and clearing. So I can't imagine painting a whole car with base coat, have to go through the base coat, and then have to go through the clear coat and fix any little imperfections or anything. That is a lot of work. So if I would have nailed the clear coat the first time, then this job would have been a whole lot quicker. But I'm happy with it. Some of the clear coat runs from before kind of magically appeared again. I don't know how. Some type of ghost. I don't know. It's weird, but that sucks. But I'm not doing it again. It's fine. It's way better than it was before. Here's a flashback of before, and it's obviously way better now. So I'm not mad at all. So I don't have to buy any spoiler. I can run with this. This is perfect. And like I said, it only took me a couple days because I messed up the first day, but I like it. It was like $40 worth of materials, some free time, and I got pretty much like new spoiler again. So that's going to do it for this one. You guys, if you guys want to try it, make sure you focus on making sure the clear coat is good the first time, and you won't have to struggle like I do. But that's going to do it for this episode. Deuces. See you in the next one.